Hey guys, it's been a while. I'm Sean,
And I'm Jim.
and you'll have to excuse Jim's full mouth. But we're both World of Warcraft players, okay? And we play most nights actually. And um, today something pretty big happened. They did the announcement for 10.0. I have seen it. Jim has not. He saw some of the leaks, but he has not seen the reveal or the cinematic. We're gonna watch through till probably the maybe not the deep dive because that takes a long time. Probably just the cinematic, so it won't be the whole hour that you see on the screen, but you'll see the cinematic. We'll get Jim's reaction to that, and we'll get the list of features, and then we'll probably end it there and have some discussion.
Yeah, we'll find out how screwed I'm going to be. Well, that's the usual high quality that we expect.
Yep.
For the Alliance!
Yeah, for the Horde. Screw the Alliance.
For the Horde, indeed.
Yes, we both play Horde.
For Azeroth!
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm John Haidt, General Manager for Warcraft, and with me today are my friends Ian Hazacostas, who is the Game Director for World of Warcraft, and Holly Longdale, who leads up the production team for WoW Classic. I really appreciate you tuning in. I know we're really
Forgive me
excited
for
to be able to
eating.
give you
I
an
haven't had
update on
supper.
what's happening in World of Warcraft. But first, I want to thank our community for all the feedback you've given us this year, and especially our community council. You've helped shape and influence the updates that we've done recently and what you're going to see in the upcoming year.
I mean, really, for Shadowlands in particular, the story of the last 9 months or so of this expansion is all about the community, and it's shaped by what
I
we've
have
been
to
hearing
say
from
that
them,
we have had a
and
huge
us realizing as a
influence.
team that we
Yes.
just collectively needed to do a better job of
Because
making
quite
sure the
simply, they
community felt
pissed us
heard.
off a
So
lot.
that led us to the changes we made in 9.15, but also really re-examining some of the assumptions and foundations of World of Warcraft about things like character investment and mains versus alts, or how catch-up should work, or the appropriate role of friction in our systems. And I think 9.15 represented a step in the direction of letting players have more freedom to play World of Warcraft the way they want to play it. And we really built our Eternity's End content update from the ground up around those principles.
What are some of the things that the community said that influenced your decisions for Eternity's End?
Things like the method and pacing of acquisition of the Covenant Legendary item, tons of tuning, and I think every step of the way, we were listening to make sure that we were carrying forward those lessons learned in the course of 9.15 into Eternity's End and beyond.
So,
Sean,
WoW
Yes.
Classic was really came about
hang
because
on.
of the community.
What they
Yeah,
just
they
said,
continue to help guide and
it's
support
probably a
us as
big bitch in
Classic
the
evolves.
communities that
World of
you
Warcraft.
have your main, but the one thing you don't want to do is go through all of the grinds on all of your alts.
Yes.
Now, I don't know about you that much. I mean, I know you have some, but I have alts purely as support characters. I'm
Yes.
not going to raid with them. I'm not even going to play dungeons with them. I have them for their professions. My main is my main. I don't want to have to go through all of the same bullshit to get my alts where I can support my main with them. So
Understandable.
I like the fact that lately they've seemed to have paid attention to that, and a lot more things are account bound instead of soul bound or spellbound, and you can focus on one character and still support that with alts.
Mm-hmm.
Although
Always been
we do know people who play their alts almost as much as their main.
About
Yes, we do.
the world and the players that inhabit it. And we are, in a lot of ways, curators and caretakers of that journey and of that experience. And so once this classic community formed and grew, we had to listen to them.
It's this tide of listening to the community and paying attention to what is a good experience for our players now. And where we really saw a sea change in this idea is with our Season of Mastery realm, which is a Season of Fresh Start Classic. And initially we were talking about it like it was going to be like a fresh start. Let's try this experiment in a season. It'll be about a year long. And then when the community found out about it, we started seeing this upswell.
Yeah, the team just took that idea and ran with it and turned, what started out as a small community project into this Soul of Iron system that became a centerpiece of Season of Mastery and a whole new opt-in hardcore mode that we've seen communities built around. Lots of, thrilling victory and painful defeat.
5 hours. I made it 5 hours.
And this is something I know nothing about.
It continues, like Burning Crusade Classic.
Yeah, they're talking about
We wanted
Classic
to
right now.
balance the Paladin seals.
I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
It's really important for me. I play a lot of all.
Moving into something new that we're doing to kind of cap off Shadowlands, a Season 4. Kind of a remix, a bit of a greatest hits, revisiting all of our raid zones across the expansion.
So this is where they're talking about here is that for there's going to be a 9.2.5, right?
Yeah, what was the point about Classic, though? I mean, I don't know why they came back out with Classic, BC Classic. What was that all about?
Well, they're releasing Wrath Classic.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what is the whole idea of having the Classic? I mean...
what it is so that you can basically revisit that time. So that you can play Wrath of the Lich King as if it were Wrath again.
But can't you do that now with a brand new character?
You can, but everybody is limited to level 80 and Wrath characters on those servers. So they're making it as if Wrath was current content on those servers. And not only that, but everything is reverted back, including all the talents, all the everything about how the character and class design is I transported back in time to 2008.
So if I were to start a brand new character today on the current WoW, it would have the current talent build system and so forth.
Correct. But in Classic, it has what was current for that time.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. And since everybody else is also playing in that time vacuum, everybody is forming up guilds and basically pretending it's Wrath. Like Wrath is current content again.
And that's when I started playing, was at the very start of Wrath. And I'll be honest, that is my favorite expansion.
Understandable.
With Myth or Mop being a close second.
My favorite is Mop, with Wrath being probably a third. I actually liked Warlords of Draenor better as well.
Familiar.
I did like Warlords.
The Mythic Plus rotation. And, we recognize this is kind of a closing chapter, a little bit of a send-off to Shadowlands. As everyone gets ready for what happens next, what will come next, want to give, a fun new challenge for everyone to sink their teeth into.
Really cool stuff for
So I think we may have missed it, but what they're doing in 9.2.5 is they're scaling all of the raids from the whole expansion up to sepulcher levels.
Oh, wow.
So you'll be able to go and run Castle Nathria, and it will play like Sepulcher does. You won't be out geared for it anymore. And it will drop Sepulcher level gear. So that if we decided to run Castle Nathria for a night, it would be just as rewarding as running Sepulcher.
I don't know if I like that or not. I mean,
Why not?
I like the fact that you have, or that you progress from level to level in the raids.
Well, I mean, yes. But if you can make them relevant again and get relevant gear from them again, why wouldn't you want to be able to do that if you chose?
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, you're not going back to Castle Nathria right now, are you?
No.
Okay. But if you could get, 252 gear out of normal and 265 gear out of heroic, might you visit it again?
Yeah, but that sort of negates the
No, because it's just different experiences. It's making it a relevant piece of content again. That's one of the main problems with the game.
Yeah, but you still want to progress through the raids from the lower raids up to the higher ones. I mean, that was what we did
we've done that. We've done that. But now there's no reason to throw those raids away. That's what they're trying. That's the new direction, it seems, of WoW, is that they're going to stop throwing away content. Because, for example, if you look back to MOP, okay, once Siege of Orgrimmar came out, none of us went back to Throne of Thunder. Ever again. Not during that expansion, at least.
Now I recall that when MOP came out, one of the biggest bitches I had was that I was pretty well max geared from Kata. And all of a sudden, in MOP, they're dropping greens in the very first quests.
Well, that's never going away.
That were better than what I had.
That's always going to happen because you're a higher level. So in that way, gear has to scale up.
Well, I just wish that they had overlapped it a little bit better. I mean, it's really frustrating for a green to drop out of just a normal quest line that's better than your best raid gear from the expansion before.
I think they're trying to minimize the advantage of that you get from having played last expansion. That's one of the ways that they're trying to be more welcoming to new players, is to not have this whole rich get richer situation, where if you progressed in raiding in Shadowlands, you end up with gear that's so good you level so much faster in the next expansion.
Well,
and that gives you an advantage time-wise, because now you're getting out of the gate earlier on the next raid, so you just stay ahead of them. They never catch up.
Yeah, but that also plays into my bitch that I've talked to you about, the idea that you can run Mythic Plus dungeons and get far better.
Okay, we're not doing this right now. We're not doing this right now.
I'm just saying that plays into it.
Upgrades.
Yeah, I don't care about that complaint. That complaint is completely irrelevant to 99% of players.
Very exciting.
No one cares.
For our next adventure in World of Warcraft, we're going to go back to Azeroth. We're going to a space with high fantasy. I mean, our fans of Azeroth for a long time. This has been kind of the foundation of much of the lore of WoW. So without further ado, let's watch the cinematic.
Okay.
The world has been sundered. It cries out in pain. We must go to its aid. We entrust our ancestral home to you, the Watchers. Let the land slumber, hidden even from our own eyes. You will feel our return in the waking of the land. Then You must light the beacon of Tearhold, lest the path home be lost to us forever.
Okay. And this is even before Azareth?
Nope, this is now. 10,000 years ago, they sealed it up.
Okay.
Now, yeah, so you saw the first text, but not the second text. Remember how they sealed it up and left the Guardians?
Right.
That was 10,000 years ago.
Okay.
Now he's opening it back up.
Right.
The world is healing, but her fate is yet uncertain. Together, we shall be Azeroth's protectors once again. Here, the new age of dragons shall begin.
I just want to see how they're going to reconcile this with BFA, where there's so much destruction, so many zones that no longer exist.
Dragons!
Dragons.
This is so cool.
No one saw it coming.
No one saw it coming. Carefully kept secret. But seriously, I mean, what did we just see there?
The awakening of the Dragon Isles, the return of dragons, the dawn of a new age. Right, we've seen Rathian searching for his father's legacy, searching for the Dragon Isles. There's a reason why he hasn't been able to find them until now.
The beacon going off, is that summoning the dragons?
It is removing the concealment that had hidden the Dragon Isles from the world, but also beckoning the dragons back urgently in a time of need.
I assume pretty good variety of locales within the Dragon Isles.
Yes, the Dragon Isles, as kind of standard for WoW expansion, consist of 5 zones, 4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone that we'll get to in a second.
Can you talk a little bit about how the team found ways to thread the dragon aspects throughout the environments?
The Dragon Isles are a place that is lush and primal, bursting with elemental energy. As Azeroth herself reawakens, those primal forces are expressed throughout the environment, whether it's magma activity, volcanic activity, whether it's the icy wastes of the Azure Span. And each one
Dragons
of those
have
has a
always been
connection
central
to
to
a
the
dragonflight
story.
that we've seen before.
Yes.
And it's going to be an amazing place for players to arrive at and explore.
All right, I'm going to ask.
Yes, okay,
Can,
so
can I be a dragon?
let's start getting into some features here and what Dragonflight means for you as well as just the place. So first off, yes, we have an all-new playable race, the Drakthir race.
Yeah.
This is a Draken, a draconic race, but dragons in Warcraft have the ability to take on a humanoid form.
What classes can they be?
They have unique abilities as literally a dragon. That doesn't quite fit any of our existing classes. And so what we're doing is this is not just a new race, but it's also a new class. Adding a new race to World of Warcraft, and not just an allied race, is something that we don't do lightly, but telling this expansion, the story so focused around dragons, felt like the perfect time for it. So if you are a Drakthir, you will be the Evoker class. Drakthir can only be Evokers, Evokers can only be Drakthir. And the reason why only a Drakthir could be an Evoker is that an Evoker is really combining the ability to call upon the magic of the different aspects with the unique physical gifts that a Drakthir has, the ability to actually take flight and do an Onyxia-style strafing deep breath over the battlefield, land on the other side, knock everyone back with a wing buffet, and then unleash your magical abilities.
Yes, please.
The
What do you
Evoker
think?
has two specializations.
Flight during
a hybrid
combat?
of either
Yep.
range DPS or healer. And they wear male
Wow.
armor. We figured,
They wear
with
they
the new
wear
hero
male
classes,
armor.
Classes we've added over the years. We
And-
have enough melee. We don't need more of those. And also probably don't need any more leather wearers.
The raid leaders are going to love you for that.
Exactly. This is definitely a hero class. And so that means that, like the Death Knights before them or Demon Hunters, they will be starting level 58. And then they're going to have a new starter zone. So they're going to have a slightly different journey into the Dragon Isles as opposed to the rest of us that are sailing there from other parts of Azeroth.
Can you talk a little bit about the customizations? Like what is going to be able to identify my Drakthir character?
Basically anything and everything. Skin color, hair color, jewelry, tattoos, other adornments. You can make this character the expression of your identity in Azeroth.
New zone, new class,
Yep.
new race. Tell us about some of the system updates or features.
Of course, the new expansion brings with it, new systems, new features. I think in recent expansions, one of the things we've tended to do is really have these deep features that were closely tied to a specific
Hang on a
expansion
second, Sean.
that would then get left behind as we moved on.
My question, okay, new class that can only be one one race, one class. That's all they can be.
Mm-hmm.
How does that not take away from the other races and classes? What role are they going to play in the raid?
So they can be healers and they can be range DPS.
But
Medium range DPS.
but they're not going to be tanks or melee?
Nope.
Okay, so it does not take away for the need for the other classes and races.
No, and it wouldn't anyways. I mean, there's always going to be some things that you need other classes for.
Yeah, but it sounds like as a boomy, I'm going to be screwed.
Well, I've been questioning whether or not you should be a boomy for a while now.
Yeah, I know. But like you said to my other question, that's a discussion for another time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we've heard loud and clear from players that, it's kind of a bummer to start off every new expansion by leaving a large part of your character behind, by leaving a large part of your progression behind. So this time around, what we're doing is really pouring all of our energy into permanent revamps, overhauls, and improvements to World of Warcraft's core systems. Things like our progression systems, in this case, our talent system is something that we want to completely revamp. We want to take a look at our UI. We want to take a look at professions.
So with the talent revamp and the arrival of Classic, did you learn anything about how our talents work?
I think seeing a new generation of players play with those talents and work through those talent trees really underscored some of the things that, frankly, we lost when we shifted to the Mists of Pandaria style talents and beyond. A big piece of that was some of just the granularity, the feeling of getting a level and spending a point to customize your character to make yourself a bit better in some specific way. But also, that sense of hybridity that you could have. That's something that we've largely lost. And so the new talent system avoids directly pitting player power throughput choices directly against those sort of utility.
Hang on, do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
This is actually the Druid one. And it's specifically, this is the Restoration Druid one. Talent tree. So look at this. You've got Druid points for just specifically Druid things. And then off to the right, you have specific restoration stuff.
Right. So that would apply for priests or other healer classes.
Well, so say you were a arms warrior. This is all your utility stuff, right? This is arm. I mean, this would be your arms. I mean, this would be your warrior talents. You know, you have some things in your spellbook that are just all druids get them.
Right.
And some things in your spell books that only your spec gets.
Right.
They're designing talents that way now.
Okay, that seems like a takeoff on what we have on our soul binds.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah, actually, I was...
And if you'll notice, look at this. See that little icon down there?
Where? Show me with your mouse.
Where my mouse is.
Oh, I'm looking for it. I don't see it.
Middle bottom right of rest. So you see where it says restoration points available.
Yes.
Look straight down to the very bottom icon.
Okay.
Directly down that you can select. What's that look like?
It looks like a paw print to me, but
No.
I can't see your mouse.
Okay, so if you look at the very top one, that looks like Life Bloom, right?
Okay.
Just follow your eyes straight down to the last icon that you could click on under restoration, not druid points.
Right. Oh,
restoration points.
Oh, okay, got it.
What's that look like?
I'm not quite sure. Tell me.
That's Convoke.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
It looks like it's being made baseline for restoration druids. From this screenshot.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay,
Damn is right.
Would I be wrong in thinking that this is sort of a combination of the soul of the soul binds we have with the old talent trees?
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, that Convoke was something that is something that all Night Fae get. So this isn't a soul bind thing. They made that spell into a talent.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And it's a super powerful spell too. That's
choices because we know that there's
crazy.
Always the right outcome there. And we also understand that there's a lot of strength in the flexibility of the modern talent system to let players customize their talents for a particular encounter or for dungeons versus PvP, and we don't want to lose any of that.
So, John, UI?
Oh my God. Yes, I got this 30-inch monitor trying to keep track of where I am on the map, all my buffs, and over here, what's going on in chat. It has literally made my eyes go like this. So,
and you're not alone in that. We've made a lot of incremental changes and additions over the years, but really this is a revamp. This is an overhaul. And so we're excited.
Oh yeah, they're
to
changing the
modernize
baseline
the
UI
look and feel while staying true to the origins of World of Warcraft.
Crap.
They're making it closer to what LVUI is.
Power user customization there. Add-ons are still there if you want them, but we want a much better default.
Which means that even Blizzard had to acknowledge that LVUI was doing it better than they were.
Reduce elements, remove elements. If I want to explore the world.
See, look at that. What does that look like to you?
Azeroth.
Yes.
That's LVUI.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, not strictly, but they're making it so you can move anything you want around. They got rid of a lot of the fluff. I mean, that's LVUI as far as I'm concerned.
It's very similar.
to specific elements as much as possible. We want to let players choose what to show and what to hide so that they can control it themselves.
What
You
to show,
mentioned
what to
professions.
hide, move whatever you want
I have a
around.
critical question about this.
Go on.
Can I wear a chef's hat?
Yeah, I knew it.
Our approach to professions in Dragonflight is really all about delivering on fantasy and identity as a crafter. And so if you want to be a serious blacksmith, if you want to be a great leather worker, we want to deliver the ability to invest time and energy into that, become a master crafter, be able to make items that are in demand, interact with the community. One of the big pieces that we want to do to support that is a new work order system to have a bit more
Oh my
convenience than just
God.
spamming trade chat all day. But if you are someone, you're not yourself a blacksmith, but you have a bunch of mats and you want them forged into a great sword, you can put that work order up, list your mats, offer a commission, and a skilled blacksmith can come along and make you the weapon of your dreams.
I think we left out one thing, though.
Okay,
Be a Drakthir.
regarding that, one of the worst things they did, in my opinion, was when they took away the ability to open trade and say, will not be traded. So
You
you
still
could
can
have,
do that.
huh?
You can still do that.
No, you can't put something in and have a say a mage DE something for you.
Can't you?
No,
Huh.
we've been bitching about that for years now.
Heard.
We need that back. I mean, that was the best thing about Warlords was the garrisons, that you could go to other people's garrisons and DE your crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Else, can I have a dragon?
What's the fantasy of dragons, if not soaring over the lands? And so we're really excited to introduce a feature that we're calling dragon riding. It's dynamic with everything from momentum to dive bombs, the ability to just sort of build that speed up and feel the world rushing past you in a way that should be much more exciting than traditional flight that we've had made available in the past, but that's also available for players through a customizable dragon mount right from the start.
So
We
this
get
is
flying
a skill
from the
you
start.
learn over time, right? To become an awesome dragon
Yeah.
rider.
Yes, you'll be able to sort of upgrade aspects of your flight, but you will have this new form of flight from the start. And the dragon companion that you have is, of course, very thoroughly customizable, which is a new thing for us for mounts. This is not just a generic dragon that everyone has, but a drake that is yours. What do you want its scales to look like, horns, the shape of its head, other attachments, armor pieces, and more. Take your pick.
This is so cool.
My question is,
So yes,
what
the
can my
Dragonflight
Drake
expansion
do
is going-
that my flight form can't?
Dragon riding.
Right, but what ability does my mount have that my flight form doesn't?
Well, it's going to be faster for one.
Okay.
And for two, it's going to be more fun because they're going to be adding all the dive bombing and the spins and they're working towards aerial combat is what they're doing.
Yeah. Whereas my flight form, the best thing I love, hey, I can gather and not break flight form, which means
Right,
I can
and
avoid combat. I mean,
in
it's
flight
just,
form will
it's
still be
cool.
better for that. Yeah, flight form will still be better for that, but in every other way, this will be better.
Going to see players leveling to 70, going to the all-new continent of the Dragon Isles, which consists of 5 zones, 4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone for our Drakthir class, as well as a range of systems revamps, such as a new talent system, an overhaul and update to our UI, and an entirely fresh look at professions with more depth than ever before. Also getting around the Dragon Isles is going to come in the form of dragon riding, which lets you customize and upgrade your own mount so that you can fly in a sense from the start. And of course, as with any new expansion, we have a new set of dungeons, a raid, and much more to come.
We also have an alpha that will be starting up in the future.
Check out our website for more information and keep
He
an eye
almost
out for
let
those
the date
opt-in
slip.
signups if you want to help us test out.
Did you notice
and
that?
Give us even
Yeah.
more feedback to make it better.
We do have a deep dive that follows this, so please stay around. Classic players, we haven't forgotten about you. You could probably guess where we're going to go next. One of the all-time favorite expansions for World of Warcraft. Let's watch the cinematic.
We're here to talk about not only the Evoker, but also dragon riding, which is our
Right.
exciting expression into the exploration of the Dragon Isles.
We knew with a dragon-themed expansion, we wanted to let you play a dragon. Not a big dragon, Alexstrasza size. That'd be tough to fit into raids. I'm sorry, Jake.
Okay.
I know.
It's fine.
But a draconic humanoid. So the Drakthir, created by Neltharion.
And like our other hero classes, you get to choose if you want to start on the Horde or Alliance side on character creation.
So let's talk a little bit about the Evoker, the class they can be. What's unique about it is because the Drakthir are created by an aspect, they have the ability to wield the magic of all 5 dragon flights. So Evokers can take advantage of red magic and blue magic and bronze magic.
And to show that, we created a visual, what we call a prismatic effect. This prismatic effect is basically the coalescence of all their energy as they channel it into whatever spell that they're going to cast. You have a red magic spell called Pyre. So when you shoot it out of your mouth, it twirls in the air with all 5 of the Dragonflight's magic as it turns into the red spell before landing on your enemies and exploding and hopefully burning them.
I'll take that one.
Getting that vibe across that they use all 5 was really important to us. But we did want to make sure that each specialization focused on 2, because casting 5 different colors gets a bit messy. So their damage dealer specialization, their first.
I skipped ahead in
Devast-
this because I wanted you to be able to see the Evoker class.
Right.
Because I know that's what you were curious about.
Station mostly focuses on red and blue magic. Red being very fast and explosive, burning everything with pyre, whereas blue is more focused and overwhelming. You can shoot a beam of energy out of your mouth to disintegrate one single enemy in front of you.
There's a healer spec called Preservation. The healer spec is going to focus mostly on your green and your bronze magic. So your green is going to be evocative of the Emerald Dream, your growth and your nurturing spells. And then you have your bronze magic, which is going to be more timey-wimey. So you get to heal a wound faster.
So in addition to the visuals and the animation, which all make you feel very powerful,
Okay.
to have a physical connection to the cast, we have a new type of spell called Empower, where when you actually hold down the button on your keyboard, it charges up the spell. The longer you charge it up, it might do more damage or hit more targets depending on the spell. But it gives you this really
interesting
connection and control that's new for World of Warcraft, and I think is feeling really, really good.
We have some great animations.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
is new.
You feel physical when you're casting your spells.
You can actually fly around the battlefield and cast while you're flying.
Raining fire and death from above. It's great.
That's going to make life interesting.
Though another part of feeling draconic is looking like a dragon.
Well, we talk about dragons breathing fire, but you know what's actually fire?
What's actually
These
fire?
customizations.
Oh my goodness.
But no, they're really, really great. Because you have both your draconic form and your humanoid form. And the customization options for both of them are amazing.
They're very good.
What about color? Just tell me.
tell us about the color. You can do a lot of matching. So your Visage form can have scales that are the same color as your Drakthir form.
But my favorite, super favorite part of customization for the Visage form, hair.
Yeah.
Because I can actually do this in game.
Yeah.
The check is here.
I have never understood
As players make their way through each of the areas of the dragon.
obsession. I've never understood the obsession with transmorg.
They want their characters to look cool, man. I do too. Look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah. Well, as a boomy, obviously I could care less because I look the same no matter what my non-boomy form might look like.
You used to be able to glyph it so that you could look like a regular person instead of looking like a boomkin. You probably still can.
Dragon Isles,
Okay.
they'll partner up with the Dragonflights to move through the air as they've never done before. You'll notice I did not say flying because flight has a very specific meaning for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it does.
And we're talking about something new called dragon riding.
And as the players are honing their dragon riding skills, they're going to get to see all new animations that go along with the different look and feel of the drakes.
We're aiming to shake up movement with this new system, providing players with a deeper immersion with forces like momentum and gravity.
We knew that for Dragonflight, we were going to have the opportunity to show players a whole new set of Dragon Isle drakes, completely unique from all the other things they've seen in World of Warcraft. And so we wanted to come up with a movement system that would add that sense of physics, weight, and gravity, like you were mentioning. We knew it was going to take a huge team effort, not just animation, but it was going to take effects. It was going to take the engineering team, who we rely on heavily, and that combined with some new animations really helps to lend that feeling of physics as you move through the air in ways that you haven't before. And the icing on the cake is going to be some really cool effects that we've added on top of all of that. So for example, when you start hitting, maximum velocity, you're going to see contrails coming off the edges of the wings. And then as you do your rolls and spirals, you build up more and more speed. There's going to be some screen effects on the display to indicate that you're reaching maximum velocity.
I can't even begin
which really
to
adds to
comprehend
the overall kind of immersion and sense of reality.
the programming
As
for doing that.
It would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are both programmers.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, this is far beyond my area of expertise, or is far outside my area of expertise.
Oh, mine too. I would love to learn this stuff, but it's definitely way outside of what I know how to do right now.
Yeah, it's I think that's just amazing what it takes to do these types of graphics programming. I simply don't know how it's done.
Nor do I.
Players make their way through the Dragon Isles, they'll discover new cosmetic options to fine-tune their Dragon Isle Drake's appearances. Things like snoots, horns, tails, elusive Dragon Isle Drake armor, and more.
Can I have spikes?
Definitely.
Okay.
We want to provide players with all new skills to play with, as those who can use their momentum well can reach higher and higher heights and bring on new, more difficult challenges.
We just have so many new gorgeous options to choose from, and I'm just so excited for all of them.
I'm excited for the whole thing. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to work on, but I can't wait to actually get in the game, play it with you guys.
I can't wait. I can't wait to fly around Dragon Isles. It's going to be great.
Next up, you're going to hear about the talent revamp and the UI changes coming in Dragonflight.
Hello, my name is Brian.
I'm Crash.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Laura. We are very excited to share we are finally revamping the WoW HUD UI.
And it is also time for a major revamp to talents and specializations.
I have a big question for the group.
The
How long do
UI
you think it
especially.
took for us to finally revamp the WoW HUD?
My guess is like 15 years.
Close. 18 years.
18 years.
18 years.
Wow.
You know, technology has changed a lot since we made the UI back in 2004. Now you have like bigger monitors, and we have better dev tools to work with. So it makes sense to have the revamp right now. Also, if you look at the game today, the art evolved beautifully over the years. And if you look at the HUD looks like it got frozen time.
So when we
No
approached this,
shit.
we wanted to create a layout experience that players could customize, move things around, adjust it to fit their needs.
Add-ons today, they do
Oh,
a
UI,
lot of
like you
player
said.
customization.
The downside is that not everybody uses them. It's about time that everybody has the opportunity to use them, that they become a part of the base UI.
Yeah, and we are working very closely with our user research team to make sure we are hitting the goals that our player needs.
It allowed us to add new functionality to improve accessibility in a lot of areas. And on top of that, we are going to be improving the art.
Yeah, so the art update, it's a big part of this project. The UI that we have today has a lot of charm and personality, and players have been using that for 18 years. So with that in mind, we want to respect the players who really like the current UI, but do a modern take to it, removing the clutter and giving more visibility for your gameplay. So the new minimap, it looks bigger, and the health bar is also much bigger. If you look at the action bars and the bottom menus, they have less head frames, and you can really open up your gameplay. So you don't have a lot of your UI in front of you. And of course, we want to find iconic pieces from the current HUD, but we want to bring it back in a nice way. So we for sure updating the Griffins. They look so nice now. And the Horde, don't worry, we got you. You're going to have your version as well. So let's talk about the edit mode.
We are putting a mode in that will let players move various HUD elements around on the screen.
So I'm able to move the mini map, say, from the right corner all the way over to the left corner. If I want to bring my action bars from the bottom and kind of put them more in the center by my character, those are all things that I'll be able to do.
Absolutely. And each of those different components will have various sets of options that you'll be able to work with. They'll be able to save it, edit it, copy it, name it. Also, it'll remember which spec you're in. So if you're someone who jumps around a lot,
As you switch, it will switch to whatever HUD layout you have for that spec.
This is an ongoing project. We're going to keep working on it. So we really want to hear back from you.
Okay. That sounds great. But I think you would agree with me that all of that set aside, it's the number of action bars. The basic UI simply doesn't give us enough. That's why LVUI is so popular.
Well, it's one of them, but I mean, you can get that functionality with something as simple as bartender.
True. But for example, as a druid, you probably have one action bar that's set up with your heal spells. And when you change into bear form, you have a different set of spells on that same action bar. And you have another action bar that has your druid spells on it that you always have available. And you want another action bar for things like using your trinkets or food or whatever. I mean, the basic UI that they've had simply doesn't address those needs. And what I'm hearing on this so far just means they're adding the ability to rearrange where things are at, but not necessarily.
Well, they also included hide and show.
Yeah, but they're not.
Which would include the additional bars.
Well, I hope so, because, I mean, when you show me LVUI, yeah, I was resistant because it wasn't the normal UI. But once I got used to it, I don't think I could possibly go back to the traditional UI.
No, hell no. Absolutely not.
No. And that's saying something.
I would miss raid. Like, like if my computer went down and I had to go and buy another computer off the shelf and try to raid, if I didn't have time to set up my UI, I wouldn't raid. I just wouldn't. I would just miss that night.
I think I would be the same.
Sorry, guys. If you want to give me 20 minutes, I can hurry up and set my UI up. But otherwise, you guys can just sit me for the night.
A project that we're all excited about that we've been collaborating a lot on is something that's pretty UI intensive, and that's the talent system.
It hadn't changed in a long time, like you said before. And we really started with
how
can we have players have more choice over what their character has?
As you level up, we give you a new spell or a new ability.
Well, they haven't changed it in a long time.
Well, no, we've been putting up a change in the talent tree every X pack.
Well, yeah, I mean, a spell here, a spell there, but not a revamp.
Yeah, but still, just how it works, we've been having to put up with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they changed it from how it was back in Wrath and pre-Wrath days.
Yeah, the talent tree today is nowhere close to what it used to be in Wrath.
Right. But it hasn't changed since then. It's only changed once. That's what they're saying, is they haven't changed it in a long time. They haven't changed it in a long time. They're right.
Okay.
They've made little changes to individual classes or individual specializations, little tweaks, remove a spell here, copy paste a spell there, that kind of thing, but they haven't.
Yeah, to me it seems like it's changed almost in every X pack.
No, hell no. Not no.
Okay.
They've changed which spells are optimal, but they haven't changed the actual way that we allocate talent points since Wrath, or since Pandaria, I should say. Pandaria was the year that we got that big change to where you get one talent at 15 and another one at 30.
Yeah, that's true. And I didn't play BFA or
and it didn't change.
I didn't play Legion or BFA.
And it didn't change. It didn't change one bit.
Thing that kind of makes you stronger, but it's determined by the designers. We decide the order
Yeah, we started looking for a system that would give players a much wider set of options.
And after looking at all those things, what we really returned back to was the idea of trees. But it's actually 2 trees. We have a class tree that offer different class utility, and then we have a spec tree that is focused on performing your role, whether that's damage, tank, or healing.
Can I just jump in and say that I personally am super excited about having trees come back? There's a big nostalgia hit for me.
As we said, we have these 2 trees because we feel like picking a specialization is a really important part of your World of Warcraft character now. And so we want to make sure that when you choose that, it kind of affects the tree in some way.
Yeah, as soon as you open your talent tree, you'll see something new. The class side will have some abilities filled out for free, just kind of starting you off in that spec you've chosen, but then you'll have your first point to spend in the class tree, which could be something related to that spec or role, or it could be something from elsewhere in the class.
There's a lot of things that we can do here, and part of that is encouraging players to perhaps make combinations that they've never really been able to see in the game before. This is an opportunity to put a lot more art and fantasy in the actual talent UI itself.
You have seen that a lot through most recent expansions, but not at the base level.
We want you to be able to tinker with it. You know, we want you to be able to make a lot of changes at a lot of times and not necessarily have to commit. The power really is coming back to the player. It's not something we want people to feel locked into. And so one of the things that we'll be preserving is the ability to change these talents
Okay,
at
right
the same
there.
kind of frequency that you do now.
That right there bothers me a tiny bit.
What's that?
As it is right now today, it's I think it's become well known that there are certain soul binds and even talents that are better for certain fights.
Yes.
Within a raid.
Yes.
And while it's not easy, it's not unreasonable to switch those up during a raid so you're optimized for any particular boss.
Agreed. They're saying they don't want to take that away from you.
Yeah.
They're saying they want to preserve that.
Right, but that's sort of complicating things. And what I'm seeing on there, I'm wondering if it's possible to ever max out both trees so you got everything. It looks like
No.
you're never going to max out everything.
No, and that's the point, is that you have to make choices. This or that. And if some fights, you got to think about it this way. Yes, it makes things more complicated to have situations where one is better than the other and blah, 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 blah. But if there aren't situational talents where one is better than the other, then there's no reason to have the tree at all. Just give me the best set of skills and be done with it. Does that make sense?
It does, although...
Like right now what we have in most cases is the illusion of choice.
Okay, how many of us change our talents or soul binds during the raid for each boss? You don't, that I know of. I don't.
I change a talent. There is a talent I change. I swap between there's one that I swap. There's one that I swap depending on the fight. There's one that I stack. So there's one, I can't think of their names right offhand because.
But how many of our guildies change?
Oh, we have ones that change their whole covenant from pull to pull. I mean, from boss to boss.
You're
and
kidding.
Progression. Oh yeah, there's a couple that port out and change their covenant and then come back. Oh yeah, 100%. We have that in our guild happening right now.
I wasn't aware of that.
That's one of the reasons we have a long time between pulls sometimes right now.
Well, normally, excuse me. If that were happening, I'd be looking for somebody. Hey, I got to jump out. Give me a lock closet back.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening that much.
We are. Yeah, we are. We only typically do it for progression, though. If we've killed something, we don't really need that edge, so we just kind of go through it. But if something's tight, There are people who will swap depending on the circumstances of the fight to different stuff, and we definitely have that happening. 1,000,000% yes. And for example, like there are two talents that I switch between. There's a talent that that allows you to use. I'm a restoration druid, guys. There's a talent that gives you 2-minute tranquilities that can't be interrupted via knockback instead of 3-minute tranquilities. Very strong talent. There's another talent that gives you an additional hot for anybody that's standing in your effervescence. That's also a very strong talent when there's a stacking situation. But when there's no stack and I need throughput, I want the 2-minute tranks. When there's a lot of stacking, the effervescence buff is way stronger. So I want that. And that's a meaningful choice that I have to make on a fight-to-fight basis, depending upon whether or not we're stacking a lot on that fight or not.
And that's the difference between Sean as a player and me, is that I don't know how I can take full advantage of that ability to swap out soulbinds or covenants between fights. Currently, I'm playing Boomy as Vent, and I just stay with that. I tried Night Fae, which is supposedly the best. We looked at the logs, and the top players that we looked at were Vent, so I went back to Vent.
And he has been playing better with that.
So that's the difference between Sean and me, which makes him a better player.
So
I'm an average player.
So an example of one fight that you should swap out for, Rygalon. No, not Rygalon. Do you remember what was happening the other day when we were running that Mythic Plus, where you were getting stuck because your Venthyr
right, was stunning me.
Yep, that would be a situation where I would swap.
I would go to Night Fae and not have
swap.
Convoke. Yeah, have Convoke instead of the
100%. I would swap. I would swap in a heartbeat. That would have to happen to me one time, and I would have swapped. But that is the difference between us. That would have happened once, and I'd have been like, "I'm porting out, guys. I'll be right back."
Well, you could have said something.
I wasn't playing the character, so it didn't occur to me. But in the breadth of this conversation,
you're right.
I know that I would have made that choice.
Well,
you know
you're
what I
right.
mean? Like,
well, once again, folks, I'm going to freely admit, Sean is a much better player than I am. I am I'm not going to say casual, but I'm not hardcore by any means. And Sean has much more experience and knowledge about the game than I have, as you've probably picked up on during the course of this.
Yeah, the old school players, when you see trees this time, just think, yeah, I'll go from my raid night to my arena match and figure out what I think is the best for both of them.
And that's a process we want to make really fluid. So we're building a save load feature that lets you create your build, name it, save it, and then load it up very quickly and freely.
Talents were really about the breadth of options. We've made all...
Whatever you're doing is very loud.
Oh, sorry. Let me mute.
What is that?
I'm getting a taco ready.
All these different cool things over the years, but when are they at their coolest? It's when players can hold the building blocks of what can make up their class, their spec, and put them together in a way that works for them.
So these are really cool features that we've been working long and hard on, and we're very excited about them. And it's just an early preview of the things we've been doing. We can't wait to see the reaction that you have to them, and please reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on them. And next up, we're going to talk about professions and Dragonflight.
I think that's a good stopping point.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I am interested in what they're doing with professions. I've watched it. I encourage you to watch it on your own, but that's not going to exactly be riveting TV. What they're setting it up for is they're setting it up in a way where becoming a better blacksmith or a blacksmith that specializes in blades actually has value. Meaning you'll actually, if you craft a sword and I craft a sword and I'm a master bladesmith, my sword will be better, like actually better. It will have better stats. It'll have a higher item level. It will just be a better sword. Same name of sword, same effects, if any, but it'll be a higher quality sword.
Well, that sounds interesting. As you know, up until now, I've always been self-sufficient on my professions.
You will not have time to in this, based on what I'm reading. You will need the help of others.
Or I'm just going to specialize in the things that strictly help me and not worry about every profession.
That also might be valid, but you would still need the help of, say, a weaponsmith of some sort. If you're, specializing as a leather worker, and you're still going to need a jewel crafter, unless you're going to have a jewel crafter that's all the way maxed out. And they're specialized in ring making, and one specialized in necklace making. You see what I'm getting at?
Oh my God!
They're gonna make it so that the more specialized you are, it's, at least from what I'm hearing and what I'm reading, bladesmiths will have an advantage when crafting an actual bladed weapon. An armor smith will have an advantage over a bladesmith when crafting a chess piece. And it will be different. And it will matter.
That sounds... My gut reaction is an unnecessary refinement and complexity.
So, they're doing it that way so that it's not too broken, and here's why. They're making it so that you can now craft items that would be soulbound for someone else. You know how there's some items that you craft them and they're immediately soulbound?
Yeah.
And you can't trade them, you can't sell them? Through the work order system that they're setting up, you'll be able to craft those kinds of items for a specific person. And it will be soulbound to them. And that includes weapons and trinkets, mounts, all kinds of stuff.
I'm going to have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, it should be really cool, though.
I don't, right off the top, I don't see how that improves the gameplay, but...
So it's going to allow, at least the way that I'm reading it and the way that I'm understanding it, and my understanding is typically quite good of what their intent is with stuff. And that's not to brag, that's just how it is. I do understand usually.
Well, you tend to comply more than I do with what they want you to think.
Comply? No. I simply understand what they're trying to do and how to leverage it. And I don't make a stink about things I can't change as much. I may bitch a little, but I don't whine like you do. I mean, you're a crybaby sometimes. Anyways.
Oh my God. Folks, Sean and I are friends for over 10 years.
When they made Mythic Plus too strong. When.
But I do think he's full of crap once in a while.
No, I mean, seriously though, like I'm more adaptable than you are.
Fair enough.
Let's put it like that. They set a set of circumstances. I figure out how to make them work for me.
Fair enough.
Anyways, instead of complaining about them like some other people. But anyways, what it allows us to do is have meaningful professions. Meaning it actually makes a player like you, and forgive me for saying this, is going to be rough. It's going to be kind of callous a little bit. It makes a player like you more valuable, actually, because say you're a leather worker, and you're gonna max out your leather working. Well, all of our leather wearers are going to want to go to you for crafted leather pieces, and they're going to be better than everybody else's leather pieces that get crafted. It makes you more important and more valuable to the guild.
Because I will max out my main.
Yes. So it actually assists players like you, who maybe don't bring quite as much raw skill to the actual raiding environment, but who are willing to do the things to make the team successful on the back end, makes them more valuable, because you need people that are willing to grind out leather professions and mail professions and armorer and weapon. You need people who are willing to do that shit. Excuse me.
Yeah, but that said, in all honesty, that's what the auction house is for a lot of times.
Well, yeah, it is. But at the same time, how many of those pieces can you really afford to buy? How many can anybody afford to buy, really?
Well, that depends on how many tokens you want to buy.
Exactly, and that's when it becomes pay to win. And most of our people that we're friends with don't like to be paying to win.
No,
at least not beyond what would be considered outrageous.
And to be honest with you, I'm going to give points to WoW that over all of these years that I've been in it and you've been in it, they have not come to microtransactions. The closest they've come is the WoW token.
Well, there's the WoW token, and there is the mounts and transmogs.
Okay, yeah, no, the mounts and those don't affect gameplay at all.
Yeah, they've done a very good job of not tying player power to money.
Yeah, and even the game token, that has nothing to do with gameplay.
That's not entirely true.
Well, okay, it ties into gameplay to the extent that you can buy crap off the auction house.
Well, yeah, but if you wanted to spend $100 on tokens right now, you could go buy a 278 helm and turn it into a.
That's what I'm saying. You can.
I mean, that is relevant.
Yeah, that is, but that's the closest they've come to microtransactions.
Well, they're inching ever closer. But we'll see.
If they ever did go to actual microtransactions, I think they would lose about half. Yeah, they would lose at least half their user base.
Yeah, they would lose me with microtransactions. There's lots of other games that I can play that don't do that to me.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I play WoW just out of habit. Because as you know, I'm not a gamer. But I got the bug for WoW way back because of my job at the time. So if I were to quit playing WoW tomorrow, what am I going to miss?
You'd miss it. You always come back. But that proves out that you'd miss it.
Yeah. Depends. But I mean, I'm not a hardcore gamer.
Even though you'd miss it, I don't know. You get what I'm getting at, though.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we're going to end it here. We're a full hour in. This has been a long stream, but like I said, I mean, we're really both pretty avid players. We play most days. So, yeah, I figured this was something relevant for us to react to. And
we're raiding 2 nights a week. We play almost every day in order to be ready for raid and so forth. It's just what we do.
I'm playing right now, actually. So, that's
turkey.
That's the strength of it, So, anyways, guys, have a wonderful day. Hopefully we'll see you guys in the next one, and we will try to upload here more often. We haven't uploaded in a long time. We'll try to get back to uploading here semi-regularly. Yep. Do go check us out on over on Cross Country Food Wars. We're also cooking over there, and we're releasing weekly there.
Yeah, we dropped a new one tonight. We actually dropped a new one 2 nights ago.
Yep, and we want to get back to posting here as well. But please, if you enjoy, just our content in general, go see us there as well. Because that is where we're honestly putting in a little bit more effort at the moment, because we're actually producing content as opposed to just reacting to it. So definitely check us out over there. That's Cross Country Food Wars. Made it this far, then obviously you like hanging out with us. So go check us out there. There's lots of content.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Later.